Good afternoon, everybody. We'll get you live here on YouTube just a minute, and we'll start our session. Welcome you here to do a live demonstration of RFP delivery and some of our new features. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to have a live session here with a demonstration of some of our new features, and I'm going to talk to you about DSBS and some other essentials that you need to know in order to do business with governments across the country. And I'll get started here in just a minute. This is live on YouTube. Please be aware for your privacy reasons. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark. I'm here today. I'm going to talk to you about Gov Directions and RFP delivery and all things contracting. This is live on YouTube. I really appreciate you joining us if you're there in that setting. If you'd like to make sure you subscribe, you can just click on the subscription button right below. There's no charge, of course, to subscribe to YouTube, and it'll always alert you when there's a new session that we're doing. Today, what I want to do is kind of walk you through some new features at RFP Delivery and just do a general demonstration to help you understand how to best use it, make sure you're using the tools effectively, and they're there for you in the proper way. This is a recorded version, so it's once again live on YouTube. You can go back to it after and watch it at any time. So we appreciate your live attendance. As we get to near the end, this will be about a 20-minute session. I'll open up the room for some conversation and discussion, and you can ask some questions of me as we go up as we finish off the session. So I like to always start whenever clients come to me with this main screen here, and this is our primary uh, site that kind of really explains our purpose. GovDirections, first of all, we've been in this sector since 1998. Our primary objective is to take what's considered a um, a fragmented marketplace. And local governments, state governments, and federal agencies, such as cities and counties and schools and special districts of all kinds, hospital systems, airports, parks, transit systems, some 130,000 plus agencies across the United States. And now we even see added to that fragmentation, certain portals that are gathering information that are out there. And they work with governments and governments post that there. It just continues to, it adds to the fragmentation itself. It's not a broken system by any means. It's fragmented. We design it, a home rule philosophy. And so I use a puzzle to really illustrate our purpose. Just like a puzzle box, there's thousands of pieces sometimes. And until you start putting together, a lot of times it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so that's uh, what we try to do. Our business solution is help it make some sense. So as those bids come in, 2 to 3 a minute, about 5,000 every single day from all of those agencies, we pull them together and we make them searchable for you, so you can come in really quickly. And I always like to go in and just point out we have other services like the information comes to you in your app. So if you don't have that, you can download that on the App Store or on the Google Play Store. We also have assistance with capability statements, something you actually need. I'll talk about that in just a few minutes for the federal government specifically. And then, of course, we have a RFP writing service. That's an experiential process, meaning you learn by doing, where we actually take a bid that you're interested in, help you write a result, help you get the winning strategy to make that a part of your business, and then walk you through that process. And of course, now one of our newest features is our Eagle Eye service, where you can come in and actually use a chat GPT to actually help you not only analyze the actual bid and all the parts that go along with it, but also go in and actually develop a response. Now, you have to be careful when you use AI to help with the responses and to make sure that you are in compliance with the rules of that individual government. And so it's important that you just don't take something directly from a feed in order to submit it. You need to actually go through and have it make sense for you. And the truth is governments are incremental in nature and they're not likely to change too quickly. And so the rules that are in place haven't necessarily caught up with it. But the primary objective of our service is to come in very quickly and you can go in there and search. I do compensation studies. So I would always like to go in and use that as an example. I'll go to keyword is a Boolean search technique, meaning the two words together have to appear together. Or I can expand it with a conjunction or, and I can limit it with a conjunction and then I can also restrict it with and not. But the primary one is that first study, basically going in, those two words have to appear together. And it quickly shows me the bids or the RFPs that have those two words associated with the contract. And it's calling through some 50,000 different bids that are there, pull out the four that are actually in my wheelhouse. Okay. And whenever you see this, I'd like to point out a couple of things. The first thing is we're not a speculative system. Okay. And that's important. It's not like I'm thinking about putting the roof on my house, go and get some bids for it and never go through with it. The governments go through an elaborate decision-making process. And so when you see it on our site, it's really near the end of a long process. In fact, in these particular situations here, it may have been a year in the making to get to this point. And I point that out so you know you're not wasting time. And the government actually is interested in you working with them. They're advertising. It's a request for proposal, a solicitation, a true request of the marketplace to come in and assist them. The whole using the whole theory of the firm concept and why we contract with each other. But you've got an expert service or supply that you provide. They need that and they're alerting the marketplace. And so somebody's going to win this contract on or about that day. And the second thing I always like to point out is we only work for private companies. We don't work directly with the government at all. We're not a portal where governments or we're established where they actually we're not like a procurement system for them. Here, we're like almost like a newspaper where you actually are seeing almost the classified ads with all, but it becomes more interactive these days. So you get all the documents, everything you're going to need in order to bid on that project. And so I like to point that out because that means that we're not sitting and waiting for governments to publish things. We're an aggressive system, and it's not that we dislike government. We love government, in fact, and about 80% of our bids are posted directly by them using our announce system or an API of some sort, where we're making sure they reach you as a marketplace. Our marketplace consists of over 100,000 different companies that are constantly using our system in some capacity. And just once again, point that out because then you know that we're not restricted in any way, and so we're there to advocate for you. And we have a team, about 20 different researchers. That's all they do for you. Go out there and really collect. So that when you see that bid that you have an interest in, maybe this one here, I'm in Georgia, maybe it's a new one, due September 11th. I haven't seen this one yet, state and local. And then you can, so of course, socially share it with others, but tools to help you with that. In fact, we even give you a little map so you can go in and geospatially see where it's at and drill into it down to the block level and know where that bid's at. Okay, so I come in, here it is. It's Rockdale County Schools, somewhat near where I'm at, in fact, within about 50 miles. And I come in and actually can go in, I can see that organization on the map in a detail specific down to the geospatial part, or I can come in and get information. Now, if this is a bigger government, sometimes they have somebody's name here. There's other details they may request for you, but the basic information that you need in order to actually come in and see the information for the bid itself. Okay, we have, before you leave us, this is where all the information is going to be at. We have a capture management system, so I can capture it and then I can view those. Now, in our front system, this here's going to drop out on September 11th. Okay, but in our capture system, when I capture it, I can save it there as long as I like. And that's important because a lot of times bids are out every year or every 3 years, and you want to build your pipeline. This is the pipeline here. And I can actually tap that, use that as a tool to really go in there and see the ones I'm interested in that I've tracked over time. Okay. And also just in case I get a lot of bids, or sometimes there's a lot of bids going through, I don't want to lose it. Okay, because there's 50,000 active ones, and there's just this one that I'm interested in. So then at this point, though, I step into it. I'm interested. Okay, you might want to get that little book over there. It's how to learn to read and respond. And you go into it and we actually see the bid itself. At this point, you've left us, you went to the government directly. They want to work with you. Miss Marky Dixon is the person in this particular case here. Wants to work. Here's how to get in contact with them. Here's a link to their site, information for their bids. They use one of those third-party portals that I was mentioned earlier. So you may have to register with some of these, but you only do it once you actually have to in order to download the documents, because otherwise you'd spend all your time just registering with various, there's about 40 of these different systems that are out there. At this point, if it's of interest to me though, I'm going to download the information and pull it out and start and looking at the detail. Okay, so that's our objective. We step out of the way. Gov directions, RFP delivery, we step out of the way. At this point, you're there and you're working directly with this agency. You're going to follow those rules. It's important that you follow the rules. Now, when you do download that, you might actually have an interest in working with our GPT, and that's an important part. Now we have another one we're going to introduce just after Labor Day. But we have, of course, the one that we built within the OpenAI series in ChatGPT, and it's called the Gov Directions RFP Writer GPT. And so when you go in there, you can search. You can actually go in and search. Excuse me, I did the wrong search there. But go in and search here GPTs, and then you would go in there and you would find the Gov Directions RFP Writer. It's in the 5 series. There it is right there. It's pretty popular. 1542 actually using it right now. So I tap that into it, and it'll open up and it'll help me and guide me through the process of actually working through that RFP. It's a great new service that we offer. People really like it. It helps you with the prompts, and there's prompting that goes along with that. And so that's important that you know that you have that there. You can analyze the bid. That's actually, I think, one of the first things that I really like to use it for is I pull in, I have my indicators of success, and you probably you've been presented that a simple form to go in. These are the things that you're looking for. We help you with guidance in a little bit. There's a little quick video on that and how to work with these. And then you ask the chat to, compare what that government is requesting with what your specific indicators are. So if there's a high degree of match, then you'll go through, and we have training on that in one of the YouTubes. Make sure you go in there and do that. Now, when you're in your main dashboard, you can always get there with that logo. The word home will sometimes appear. And then, of course, this logo, right, this little individual human image always takes you back to the dashboard. At the dashboard, your name is over here and your email, but you also see a feature here. And if you have your UEI and you've added it to our system, then we're going to link directly to your DSBS profile. Okay, and the way to add that, of course, is in our settings tab, where you also are able to go in and actually set your preferences, which kind of bids you want. Always cast a wide net when you first start. You don't really these are categorizations, anything that could fit you to start off with, and then scale back. Okay, we're not going to charge you anything extra. It's important that you know that, and we want you to be winning. Okay, it's important that so when you go in, you select, you update. That's actually going to drive your app in the App Store. Download that, and if you're going out this weekend and you want to just tap, make sure you don't miss something, because we're adding 2 to 3 bids every minute, and you tap it. Always show you the last bid first that matches your preferences. Okay, so that's important that you do that. Now your location preferences, you can cast a wide net again, all or undo them right here, and then do individually. Okay, and this will drive all the ones for your individual organization. So you got your categorization, you got your state system, and then we'll give you a daily alert every morning about 4 a.m. But we don't try not to wake you up. Don't have that little bell on your phone or anything. It comes in though it's consistent, and it's there for you to see what's happening the day before. One day before, and it's stored there. And so it's important that you have that. If you don't find it, it's going to be stuck in a spam filter potentially. We send out a lot of them. There's about 100,000 every morning going out, boom, everywhere. And we don't want you to miss that. So always look for that. If it doesn't come, let us know. But the good news is we store it online. You tap here, alerts, and it's going to show you what would have been in your email. Okay. And here, initially, it's going to show you the last 28 days, and you can frame that just since yesterday, and that's going to be the bids that were added yesterday. So we're adding 5,000 every day, and we want to just give you the ones that match you. Now online is organized by the state in a linear way, but in your email, it's going to look like your Gmail, it's going to look like your Outlook mail, whichever mail systems that you're using. Okay, but make sure you're getting that, and that you're able to click through. 1 click and you're at the bid. Okay, 2 clicks and you're at the government. And that's important. We're streamlined acquisition of the information. Okay. It's important that you're moving through quickly and that you're not wasting too much time capturing the bids that you have an interest in. Going back home right there. Now, As I mentioned in the settings, you're also able to give us that UEI and your cage code, and that's essential to tie to your right here update to tie to your DSPS. And that's something that's really important. It's changed, had big changes recently, and there's been some issues with it, but they seem to be working through those. But this is how governments find you. It is important that you understand that. So you tap into it, and you have to have both your UEI and your cage number to do that. Okay, you add that, and at the top screen here, at that point, after you add it, you can come in. We actually tap into your profile. This is done by the Small Business Administration. Now, this is an overlay of your SAM registration. SAM is the System for Award Management. It's basically the accounts payable system. It's not a bidding system. It's the accounts payable system for the federal government. And so you have to be in there before you can bid on a contract because they've got to be able to pay you if you win. Now, at the same time, it has nothing to do with state and local government, cities and counties, unless there's a federal dollar attached to it. Occasionally, that's the case. But it does, the SBA does pull from that. And this database here is used by so many individuals at the contracting level. The government contractors search for you. They come in and just to say they were looking for somebody to do compensation study, they would type in compensation study, search, and then it would show them companies that do that. Okay, there's 196 nationwide, and then they come in. They essentially have the name and their capabilities narrative. Now, this search is built on that capabilities narrative, so you have to make sure you got it done correctly. Otherwise, you won't come up in that search. In case in this situation, for example, they have the actual word compensation in their name. That'll help out too. So it's a keyword type function. Okay, and one of the things I've noticed recently as you come in. They added a special feature. It has always been there, but somehow it's taken on a new meaning. So if I come in here and basically want to go in, let's just take a look here. I'm going to look at all the companies that are brand new or have updated, let's just say in the last couple of days. I noticed more and more companies are basically telling the government, hey, I'm not interested in talking with you. And I think they're doing it inadvertently. They don't really mean to do it. Okay. Like this business here, hidden, 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 basically saying, don't knock on my door, I'll come see you. Okay, that's not what you want because in this particular system, this is the primary purpose of this is to put yourself in front of the government. And for them to find you, they've got to be able to search this information or they can reach you. So if I open this one up, I don't have any way of getting in touch with you. And so I'm not gonna bother with it. It's not worth my time when there's all these other organizations that have it done right. Okay. And so it sends a signal to the government. So it's really important that you go in there and you have your compensate, excuse me, let me just use that word there. Here, I'll show you how mine looks. Gov directions. Okay. I don't really do business with the federal government, but I like the local governments to know me. Okay. So it comes in here. It basically gives you my capabilities narrative and my capabilities statement. And so you want to make sure you have those listed so that when they see me, they're able to tap on that, go right straight to my capabilities statement. Okay. And that's really, really important because then it sends a signal. Hey, Mr. Knowles knows what he's doing. I want to hire him and I can do that. It's still here's less than 25,000. It's called micro purchasing. And I can go ahead and just strike a deal. I don't have to go through that arduous process of bidding or doing an RFP. And that's really important that you actually have that done correctly. We do link to that to help you find that. In addition, your capability statement is hugely important. And this is important for almost all levels of government. Truthfully, 5 years ago, there were nothing. Now, federal government started requiring it. Now, state and local governments are basically asking for the document. So having one prepared is not a resume. It is a statement of what you're capable of accomplishing. There's 6 parts to it. And it's important that you understand how to do that. We do publish those, prepare them for you, and you can learn more about that. But also, I'm a big believer, and we do this in everything we do. Our basic philosophy is that we teach you so that you can use it for yourself. I'm going fishing this weekend. I'm getting ready to leave right after this session. You learn to fish, you can feed yourself for a lifetime. And that's what you got to do. Got to learn how to do this. YouTube channel helps you over and over again. You just tap into it right here and you can see it. And I got one specifically right there for capability statements and how to prepare one for yourself. Okay. And so that's important. In fact, where we were at right there, that's also where this video is going to be at. So live, we're doing it live now. You can tap on there afterwards and rewatch it. So Gov Directions YouTube channel. Our Gov School, here we have sessions. In fact, I'm going to do one coming up next week. We're going to start, school's back in session now. We're going to talk about FPDS and price research and how to use it and how it's changing. There's going to be some big changes in the FPDS system. If you're not familiar with that, this is basically how you learn how to price yourself, all the contract information, all the details. We've been around for a while. We got about 6 million records of data. So we have a very similar. That's we have state and local information. They have primarily actually just federal. Okay, so but you can take the combination of two, and you can really learn really where you need to be pricing at. You can get very precise in your pricing. So we teach a lot. Okay, so you can come and watch this at any given time and learn which ones that catch your attention and do that. Now, of course, our government advice area is we are a big believer in also providing technical assistance. So you can come here and there's instead of you hiring a full-time person to go and actually write, you can help us. We can actually teach you how to write or learn how to do it. And we also will do it for you. Capability statement, prepare it to teaching you how to price, going and give you a pricing strategy. It's important that you understand that. Learn here. This is our Eagle Eye, the new GPT, as well as going in. And this is one of our somewhat actually one of the favorite new services. It's an experiential writing class. It's built almost like a graduate school class or a college class where you take 3 months and you really learn in an interactive process how to actually respond to bidding. And if you have an interest in that, reach out. It's a popular service. It doesn't require any long-term commitments. Everything we build is get you in, teach you, get you out. Okay, it's also important that we do that. But here's that proverb I talk about all the time. Okay, and we teach you this, building everything you need. And there's a lot of different sessions on YouTube that actually are built around this model, okay, to teach you. Okay, and in this overall system here, when you first get back over here on the left hand, I'm gonna go as I ease out of this presentation today. Left hand side, you can filter, get into very precise filters, typing in a word like compensation there, and maybe going into human resources. And then maybe I'm only interested in Georgia. I'm filtering out of 48,599. That number is going to be up to about 52,000 by the end of the day. Okay. See them all on the map. If you ever want to just zoom with us, tap on that. We'll zoom with you and talk to you. But you go over here at the bottom. If I like the filter, I know I'm gonna run it all the time. I can save it and then run it at any given time. I just tap on that and it'll show me all my filters. And then I can go in and apply it. It'll show me the last bid first. Okay. Filtering out, keeping on top of things is really important. Now, in the same screen, home, logo, here, I can go in and I can just type in a keyword, and this gives me a global pool. Okay, meaning it's going to give me everywhere. The other one I would just done Georgia. Okay, so here, go back in, search, and then it's going to show me there's two, let's say 3 bids that are active right now for me. Okay, going back, same very precise search, only Georgia here, going in, human resource studies. Maybe I want to look at all the human resource studies in Georgia. Okay, and maybe I want to maybe look at Connecticut too. Two, okay. And maybe I want to add in some sort of qualifier like a small business in Georgia. Okay, I can do that. Every time I add a qualifier, just makes codes. That means it's only federal government. PSC codes, only federal government. I can do that. Okay, and I apply that filter, and it gets very precise for me. Okay, and so there's two particularly HR studies that might be there for me to take a look at. Okay, now with that said, I think I've shown you everything that we want to do and today and some of the new tools. And so I encourage you to make use of them. And if you are live on YouTube, I'm gonna make sure you subscribe there, but we'll go let you go. And I'm gonna open this room up right now, see if there's any questions for you directly. And I don't like for folks to ask questions.